Hello, good morning.
David,
Yes.
uh, you you
Are you
you
David?
Yes.
yeah, you have to have a pin, right?
No. What pen are you talking about? I'm
Well,
not.
usually,
What's your name?
Usually,
Anna. Anna.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's no pin that I'm aware of. I've never had a pin.
You don't put in
No
a
PIN
pin
number.
No.
because usually when I do Uber, they do a pin.
PIN number.
I've never done a pin.
So you're just gonna drive us
Yeah.
to there?
Yes, sir.
Usually, David, whenever we use Uber all the time, and they usually give a four-digit number.
Yeah. No, I'm not. I've never had any pins.
So how can they connect if the ride was official?
They. What do you mean? It's all recorded. Everything is.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Just. Yeah. Just.
I'm gonna trust you. I'm gonna
Yeah,
trust,
yeah.
but usually they have a four.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
a-
no, all my rides are recorded for safety
Okay.
and security purposes. So
Okay.
even every here is everything's, and I
Okay.
think even you should be prompted that like there's it is being. You can look at your app that my ride is recorded. So
Yeah.
you have that as your protection for you and me.
Usually, David, when I'm not complaining or anything,
Yeah.
but usually when we do an Uber, because we use Uber all the time,
Yes, sir.
and so usually when we request a ride, they find us a ride, and then they offer us a PIN number, a four-digit PIN number that we give to you to officiate the service between you and Uber and us.
Yes, I can't say I've ever done that before.
Really?
Yes, sir.
It's the first time, yeah. It's the first time.
Yeah, no, that's new for me that I've heard that. So you.
Yeah, we use Uber. What I'm saying is that we use Uber all the time. Did you bring 2 more coffees?
Oh, this is just hot water. I'm doing a coffee fast, so you're
Okay.
welcome to join me in my coffee fast and have just hot water.
Really?
Yes, sir. So since I know we have a short ride, since I've shared the wisdom of no pin, I'm trying to document wisdom, and so I'm looking for. Why is it taking me this way? Do you know where to go? That way. Okay. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I'm not familiar with this. I'm just following that.
Yeah, okay. I think you need to go.
I don't know why it's telling me to do. Well, let me just see what Uber tells me to do. I think there's an exit here. So anyways, I'm trying to document wisdoms that I can write about and share to my kids. And so as I do my Uber ride, I ask my people that I'm serving to share a couple of wisdom that they can share with me.
Oh, it's a good thing.
And where they source their wisdom from.
Yeah, whenever people are in a situation or a circumstance, no matter what it is, how big or how small it is, if you have a sense of gratitude in whatever, whether the situation is good or bad, it's very important to have a sense of gratitude and manage it from where you're at with that situation or circumstance, because we were born to be good managers of life, living, and lifestyle. So rather than complain and argue or fight or debate a circumstance or situation, just manage it for its raw presence.
So where did you, give me a scenario how you did that.
I was hit and run by a speeding motorcyclist, and it was a hit and run. So he hit me, I flew 20 feet and then hit the ground again, so I was hit twice. Boom, boom.
You were walking, or?
Yeah, I was walking. I was coming out of technology school in California. So I was hit and run, and during the process of my suffering, I prayed for him because he ran away, and I thought about his conscience, that he might think that he killed somebody, and when you kill somebody, whenever you take someone's life, you have to be held accountable for that. And if you run away, it makes it even worse because you didn't take responsibility. So the example I'm giving you is that when I was hit and run, I prayed for him. I prayed for his family. I prayed for his ancestors. Because somewhere along the line of his ancestors, he was existing because of them. So somewhere in that line of existence, someone failed, and he should have gotten off his bike and
Served you.
and followed up on the accident, but he didn't. He ran away. So that said something about what his suffering would be. So I thought about him, and the doctors were very, very surprised at how quick I healed, because I wasn't thinking of myself in my situation. I was thinking of him. And I really believe that we're meant to be good managers of our circumstances and our situation. So And also, I believe that we're here to be interdependent. We're supposed to rely on each other. We're supposed to take care of each other. So the big problem is that society, for many generations, have denied this perspective. They know that they should, but they don't. And all they have to do is do it. And so it would make the world a better world. It would make people's relationships better. And I think that peace would come much quicker than how we're processing and not in real time.
Thank you. So where did you source your this?
Oh, I have a living relationship with God. I have a living relationship. I mean,
Which
really,
God is this? Because there's many, I take people on many rides at Hindu, Buddhist.
yeah.
What's,
He's going to turn here.
I can turn here. I
Yeah,
don't know
there's
where-
only one God, and there's many religions. So God isn't religion. God is our parent. There was a time that we didn't exist. There was a time that there was no you, no me, no us. There was a time that so we're resultant beings. And the God that I'm talking about is the God of love who created us to feel Him, to know Him. And there's only one God. And the real bottom line, because I know you got to go now.
I don't know.
But the yeah.
Where do you want me to? Are
This
y'all
is
guys
fine.
stopping
This
at
is fine.
Walmart?
Yeah.
So you're saying, like, is there a specific God? Is it Jesus? Is it
No, Jesus is God's son,
okay?
and Adam should have been the image and likeness of God. And then Adam was given Eve, right? So Eve, God is masculine and feminine. And all throughout the creation, there's masculinity and femininity.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you so much.
There's masculinity and femininity, right? There's both. So God is a God that is both. So God's face would have been the face of Adam, and God's face would have been the face of Eve. There's only one God. So they were created in the image and likeness of God.
Okay.
The image and likeness. So what we feel, God feels. God, when we have thoughts, God has thoughts. So it's the same. God thought about us. So there's only one God. Only one. And there was a time we didn't exist.
So so you're saying, where does Jesus apply in this?
Jesus is the Son who
Okay.
came to restore the failure of Adam.
Okay.
And he came to find his bride. Because Eve failed too. They both failed. I'll meet you in the store. They both failed. So when they failed, God has to restore this. It can't just exist. Because as long as it exists with uncorrected, we're going to continue to repeat the same stupidity. Life after life, generation after generation. It has to be fixed. And it has to be fixed because our DNA comes from God.
So where does people say, how do you fix it? Like who's going to help us fix it, or how do we come to a?
Well, we have a portion of responsibility. It's like God gave us all creation. He gave us the entire creation, the entire universe, to manage. He said, be fruitful, multiply, and have dominion. So that's our responsibility. We have to do that. So we have this intrinsic sense of responsibility that we're always trying to go to outer space. We're always trying to build a car. We're trying to build things. So we manage these creations that we make because we were created in His image and likeness. We're co-creators with God. So in that sense, we have a portion of responsibility. So God gave us everything, and He gave us like 95% He gave, and He gave us 5% and 95% of responsibility. That 5% is our responsibility to manage the entire universe. We're supposed to manage it.
And how is that going?
it's not going very well. And the reason why is because every station in life is half-baked. I mean, if you look at education, to me, what's really in dire need is an understanding of the purpose of education. Because you got people that are graduates that have master's degrees, they have all kinds of education under their belt, invested, and then they go build a bomb, and then they kill people. So there's something wrong with our character.
So what is so with all that, with people dying, being killed by bombs? So then let me ask you a question: what happens when our body malfunctions? When our body finally malfunctions?
We're spiritual beings.
Okay.
We're spiritual beings. So there's a lot of things that went on. There's an angel that was involved in this fall, and it's not talked about in religious circles at all. They on Valentine's Day, they honor angels, cherubims, right?
Okay.
They honor them and they adore them, but they don't know that it was an angel that knew God's will, could speak, could feel, and could even choose, that was created by God. That angel was created by God, and he rebelled against the word of God, the way of God. If you were to take, I'll give you an example of this fleshlight. You see my hand? My hand, if the hand is God, the angel was the shadow. And wherever God went, the angel went. If God went north, south, east, wherever God went, the angel went in obedience. And that angel separated from God.
Okay.
He separated. And when he separated, he created his own perspective and version of God. He wanted to be like God.
Okay.
And so this was a big, big issue that is not explained clearly in the religious circles. They're not doing a very good job in explaining this. As a matter of fact, they're not speaking about it at all. That's to say the least. So, in that sense, we have like I said, we have this portion of responsibility to figure things out through our meditations and our prayers.
So then back to my question of, we're spiritual beings, so then what, is there a such thing to you as far as, is there an afterlife? Is there,
Yes.
Is there a heaven? Is there
Yeah, heaven is in the midst of you, because you can bring out the best in someone, or you can bring out the worst in someone. Either way, you have this choice. And this goes in all relationships, whether you're married, unmarried, or if you're a CEO, if you're a president of the United States, if you're a leader in the world, a prime minister or whatever. We have a choice to manage the people that we're supposed to govern them. We're supposed to govern them with truth, goodness, and love. That's what we're supposed to do. And we know we should do it.
But then who defines, where do you source those? Because like I've got a sister-in-law that lives in DC, and kindness is all over their bumper stickers.
Huh?
And that's their God, per se, meaning as long as you're kind, that's the highest benchmark that we need to strive for. And so who even defines, first, kindness is their highest level of love, and then who defines kindness? Because kindness is subjective.
Yeah.
And so is love. Love is subjective, so is all the other attributes you've mentioned. So that's why I asked, like, where do you source it, and who defines it, and where do we try to benchmark ourselves against it?
Well, let me give you this gift. God, the characteristics and the nature of God is unchanging, absolute, and eternal, which makes God unique. There's only one God. He's absolute, unchanging, and he's eternal. So that means his love is absolute, unchanging, and eternal. So the definition of true love is unchanging, absolute, and eternal. And so the only one that has the monopoly on truth and love is God. Everyone has their own version from a fallen perspective. from a fallen perspective, because everything that we deal with is after the fall. After the fall. But there was a time before the fall. And this is the time that I'm talking about. That where everything is absolute, unchanging, and eternal. And we were meant to process in this realm. And we came out of that realm through the fall. And that was due to an angel with a relationship with the spiritual body of Eve, and Eve multiplied it with Adam. And it was multiplied. So the angel knew God's principles to become fruitful, multiply, and have dominion. So he took those principles and twisted it according to his own perspective, his own. So ego is the biggest thing where self-help.
Hubris.
Yeah. The ego is the one that the hubris attitude, and he accused God, he blamed God first. The first accusation of blame went from Lucifer, the angel that was created by God, against God, his own creator. So this has been multiplied. This attitude has been multiplied through the generations after the fall. So there was a time before the fall, and then the process itself, which could have been stopped. Because God asked Adam and Eve, where are you? He was, after he rested, and he woke up and he said, where are you? And he said, we're hiding. We're in the bushes. Why? Because we're naked. Who told you you were naked? So the who is the big question that religious circles do not define very well. The who. Who told you you were naked? And they don't talk about this at all. But nevertheless, we have a individual responsibility to figure this out through our prayers and meditation. And I'm talking about prayers of tears, lots of tears. Because if you really want to know something, you'll do anything you need to do to get the answer. Especially if you're desperate. And right now you're fasting. And I learned I've done 7-day fasts myself. But I found out that when you fast, it's not about the water thing or anything like that. It's about you and God. You and God alone. And guess what? And this is another gift. The fast doesn't begin when you're on the fast, when your first day and you started and you're processing it. The fast begins on the last day, when the fast is over. That's when the fast really begins, because then you apply all this internal awareness and consciousness that you gained during the fast. And you apply it.
So back to, I don't know if I asked it, what is the way to eternity then?
The way to eternity is to look for the Messiah in your heart and serve him. Serve the Messiah. Assist and attend him. Assist and attend him. So how do you do that? You need to find him in your heart. You need to find him in your prayerful heart. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? That's kind of seriousness. And you can talk like this because you're God's son. Jesus made you know the difference between Buddha, Confucius, and Muhammad, and the difference between Jesus and them? They were all servants of God. And Jesus made a proclamation. He said, I'm the Son of God. And so he said, follow me. So we need to make this proclamation. Where are you? Like a son. I'm your son. Where's my father? That kind of heart. That kind of mindset. And it has to be desperate. Really from the heart. And you will find him. And he will show himself, because he doesn't hide any secrets from us if we're serious to know him. So that's my answer.
You mentioned all those people, the other religions, and I've got friends that believe in Buddha and all the other Hindu gods, and I've got friends that say that they even created a remix, Buddhist/Christian.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know how you can what is that called? What's the yin yang thing?
Yeah,
What is that?
that's it. The
Um,
yin yang.
uh, what comes around comes back.
Oh, you mean karma?
Karma, like karma. Do you believe in karma?
Mm. I believe that when you do wrong, you're not free from the consequences of it.
Sure.
Because if it doesn't happen to you, it'll happen to someone dear to you or close to you.
Well, I think if you, well, this is how I feel about karma is if you believe in karma, you can't really believe in Jesus.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he breaks the difference when I was telling my friend this. Karma means you live in a loop. It's a never-ending loop.
Mm-hmm.
And the only thing that can break any loops is the F word.
Yeah.
Forgiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only one out of those people that you've mentioned that can do that
Jesus.
is Jesus.
Because he set the standard at the cross.
Yeah.
He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. It was right there, and his blood was all over all of that.
Yeah.
And one thing that I really am disheartened about the religious leaders is that they say that Jesus came to die. And he was murdered, and they never say it correctly. He was murdered, cold blood murder. And but they never say it. And so I've talked to Jesus the same way I just told you to find him. And I talked to Jesus, what happened? What happened to you, please? And so many people have this airy plain attitude about God is in heaven, and Jesus is, your Savior, and